Well, a very good morning, folks, and welcome to yet another one of the Premier League SA Community Race Series. This is for April. It is Team Time Trial Month. Race number 4 today. Sandton Sequoia is just 20 kilometers, elevation 146 meters, so relatively flat today with a 2.4K leading. Some teams already on the start line. So make sure that you are tuned in and going to be watching the racing here this morning. So, like I said, Sandon Sequoia's route, it is in the Watopia world. You can see that little bump in the middle there and the Titans Grove, so not too bad today. Obviously, the guys will qualify for power-ups as they race throughout today. So the ones you are looking for, when you're in a team time trial, Aero Boost help a little bit. Obviously, a truck draft boost that can help you quite a bit, and you can put a team along there. Those are the two bigger ones that you are looking for today. Featherweight, feather lightweight, not too important. There's not too much climbing there, but if you're obviously over that Titan Groves, a little loop there, you might want to use it if you're struggling to hang on to your team. That's obviously always a good thing. Some exciting stuff coming now in May, June, and July. We are launching the Winter Series for that month. We've got just on a minute to go before the racings, before we kick over. We are going to be obviously opening up a whole lot more categories, obviously based on watts per kg. So make sure that you do tune in for that and enter at the Quicket System. Premier League Winter 2021 is the link to that. So get cracking on that and get entered, guys. So making it a little bit more fair for the men as well. Obviously, ladies, once their groups get a little bit bigger, we can obviously bring in more of those guys. Obviously, of their more categories. So in May, it is every Tuesday in May, 4th of May, we're going Volcano Flat Reverse. Tuesday 11th of May, the Greater London Loop Reverse. Tuesday 18th is the Hilly Route, and then Tuesday 26th of May is the Douche in France. So those are the races coming up pretty shortly there. So also, if you want to get involved, make sure that you do join us here, partner with us on the PLSA show, and support our incredible community. Get involved with us, send us an email on info@premierleaguesa.co.za, and let's get cracking on that one. So time to go to the start line. We've got our first team should be going off now. It's a team from Rwanda. They'll be going off. As you can see, the other guys are just waiting a little bit there on the start line. So the team from Rwanda is the first team to go off this morning. Let's have a look if we can find them. There we go. So right there through now at the moment. There's Jean-Eric Hambimana, team from Rwanda, heading out to the Furgo Flats. Very controlled the team time trial, the way you've got to do it. You've got to be chatting to your team all the time, letting them know, because what I want, once the racing starts and that gate opens, those other riders have to be very strict enough to hang back and basically not pedal, because they pedal, their race will start. So they've got to be very careful with that. These guys are flying at the moment, this team from Rwanda. 43 kilometers an hour. Got a couple of the guys going off next to Team Icarus. Let's see if we can find some of those guys. Benji Porter, they should be going off pretty shortly. And there we go, Benji Porter and his team there from Icarus. They're going to be second off the line. Next up, we'll have the USC Avengers. I only see 2 or 3. I think that's the Ian Rousseau. He's from one of the USC teams. I don't know if he's joined David and Ryan Willoughby and David Humphreys in the mix there for the USC Avengers. They winning last week. So let's see what they're capable of this week. But obviously, they'll only have 2 riders today. What's the winning mark at the moment there? So the Avengers full-on team there today. Let's see if we can bring those guys in. They'll be next to go off. They'll be watching that clock. And there we go. There's David Humphreys off now. He's going to take a couple of riders with him. Oh, it's just taking it out. There we go. Waiting for his turn to go. Off he goes. Let's just see who David's taking. He's taking Mark with him and Ryan with him. All 3 opting for those blue Tron bikes. So, like I said, they were the team to beat last week. As they head on out now. And then next up should be Ingresso. He's from the USC FMINL team. I think he's racing alone today. With the April month, I think a lot of guys, school holidays, all that sort of thing. But the racing already underway. 1.7 Ks in already for Team Rwanda. See, a lot of them have obviously done their tour of Watopia. That's what those white, yellow, and red jerseys are all about. That's the beginner's jersey. Once you complete it, you actually get a different jersey, unlock another jersey as well. Tour of Watopia, what that's all about is double points. So it's obviously riding all the tours in Watopia, organized by Zwift. With Gregory Sackner from Icarus. He's with Benji Porter and Sean Matheson. We're going to go look and see some of the ladies should be starting pretty shortly. We're going to see if we can bring some of them in. It's the Super Girls team. There's only one that signed up this morning. Let's have a look if we can find them. They still should be on the start line. Not too far to go for Suzanne Rogers, and yeah, they've got a countdown. I'll be watching that. There we go. That's their start line. We'll still go off pretty shortly. That's Suzanne Rogers, Hildegard Cronje, and Denny Cartwright. Seems they have lost Maria Gomez today. Watching for their start time. Obviously shouting go, 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 but that is obviously since the race started, that's when the men, for them, they'll have a barrier stuck in front of them. Very tense moments for them on the start line. They seem to be doing very well there this month. There we go. One of them has taken off. That's it. Riding go the Super Girls now. Suzanne Rogers taking to the road. She's with Hildegard Cronje and Denny Cartwright. So yes, folks, next month, the month of May, we will be going back to free. It will be free to race on the Premier League South Africa. Come and join us. Make a date with us every Tuesday morning. Like I said a little bit earlier, we are going to be bringing in those new categories. We will recap on them shortly. Those new categories that will be coming in. So it's for the men at 4 to 5 watts, 3.2 to 4 watts is B batch, men 2.5 to 3. So you're racing in basically in batches that you sort of generally suited. So you can win your B or C batch depending on your age, fitness levels, that sort of thing. That's what the whole idea is. We're obviously trying to include everybody. And then the women, we've given them their own batch. Once that number does increase, girls, it was a hard decision for us, but once those numbers start increasing, we will obviously then open up some more batches for you as well, if we do need those numbers. Would have been out from USC Avengers. We should have young Ian Crusell. I think he's out all on his own on the All Buddies. Yeah, a lot of his team, I know, they all said they were on holiday, on leave at the moment. School holidays, it's the time. It's one of those things. But have a good ride, Ian. Good to see Hayden Simpson has signed up for today. They're going to be going off. He's racing in the mixed team of the team of Cycleworks. They'll be going off at 5:35, so it's a little while for them to go off. So good to see Hayden racing there. It's our sponsor from Team Galileo. And then the next up will be Bajan Apache, Bajan Vikings, Bajan Spartans, and then Quad Dijon. They're all going off at 5:30 to 5:33. 1 minute intervals between those riders, between the teams, should I say. relatively flat route this section now as they make their way through the desert section. If we want to go flats, and then they're going to Titans Grove. That's where it gets that little bump that we saw on the map a little bit earlier. There's a little, it shows that it's quite a hard bump, but it's really not. At this pace and the speed, you just almost fly over it. So good to see the guys from Arjun and Reese onto the lineup, and we'll see if we can go find them on their start liner shortly. Hayden Simpson, I see, is already lined up as well. Malcolm Heatherfield back, racing for Biogen as well. So we'll find them just now. Their start hasn't gone just yet. Got a couple of seconds to their start. See if we can go to the start line. That's Rowan Heron, Biogen Apache. They'll be the first of the Biogen teams to go off at 5:30. That's in a couple of seconds' time. Looks like Rowan might be on his own today. He's the only one in the red and black. We'll see who goes with him. He might be taking Malcolm with him. It could be Rowan and Malcolm going off. Racing in just a team of two. The guys behind Ian, Brad, and Greg, they race for the Biogen Spartans, so they'll only be going off in 5:32, so still 2 minutes to their start. The great platform for coaches, for training when it's cold, when it's raining. I'm told there's a serious cold spell coming to Joburg this weekend, so I think we're going to find a lot of guys on the Zwift platform this weekend doing their thing, because it's not fun to race or even just go ride in the cold. So I'm told it's a very serious cold front hitting, and I know most of Cape Town, Gqeberha, all of those places are have rain expected for this whole week. So yeah, not great fun, not great time, but great for the guys at Zwift, because obviously then a lot of guys out on the platform. Let's go and see if we can find some of those other guys. They should be starting shortly. That'll be the Biogen Spartans. That's one of the teams that have been around for a long time. One of the Biogen. Big thank you to you guys for your support. They've just about entered every single one of our series that we've had. Some form or other we've had. They've got three or four teams: Apache, Spartans, Vikings. Looks like the guys from Quad Dijon haven't arrived at the start line this morning. I don't see them on the start line. And they are off. Biogen Spartans, it's a go. See if we can find some of the riders for that in that first batch that went off. David Humphries here from UC Avengers. Team's still working nicely together. All 4 riders still there in the mix. Remember, it's 4 riders to start, 3 to third rider across the line to count. But obviously, it does help to keep those 4 riders as much as possible. What you find sometimes then is that you'll get a rider that will sacrifice himself. He goes to the front and pull as long as he can, and basically sacrifice himself. The problem with that is if he sacrifices too early and drops off, and one of the other riders has the technical problem, it happens. We call them virtual punches, that sort of thing. And that team has basically got to wait for that rider that dropped off very early. So it's a gamble that you've got to do, and make sure that you do get it right. Too many bikes. Galileo has a solution. Chat to them. They do bicycle insurance. I do know that. I know I've personally moved all my business insurance across to them. The guys came up with a really, really great quote, and they smacked my previous quote. I got a lot more insured for a lot less. So make sure that you do chat to the guys there from Galileo Risk. $8.9K is for Icarus at the moment. What you're looking at on the screen, top left-hand corner, that blue square, that is, we're following Sean Matterson at the moment, so that's what he's pushing at, 251 watts, 221. His RPM 69, a little bit slow. I'd like to see around about 80 as a coach. Our magic number is 90, what we say for cyclists, so I can lift that quite a bit, and then obviously his heart rate. So all riders racing on the Premier League do require a heart rate monitor, and they must be on smart trainers. Obviously, they're going to be registered on Swift Power. And in the center, they're doing 41 kilometers an hour, 9.4 k's in, 17 meters of climbing. So you can see it's a very flat route, and they've been racing for 13 minutes and 54 seconds. That's basically what you're seeing on the screen there. Let's go see if we can find the team from earlier. Edwards, Team Cycle Works. They should be just about starting. It's our mixed team. There they go. Opting to look like bumblebees today by the looks of it. I see they grabbed Grenville Smith for their team. He's the solo rider that arrived on his own last week. So Grenville in their team. It's Grenville Smith, Hayden Simpson, Aurelia Edwards. And let's see, I think it's Brad Wenzel's there, the 4th guy. And I like Harry Stain, sorry, who's their 4th rider. Also, all opting for those yellow Tron bikes. See, the teams really get involved in this. Make sure that you all look the same sort of thing. One of the rules is that guys have to be wearing the same sort of kit. Obviously not very strict on that rule, but it's nice to see the guys in the same kit. And this team getting those Tron bikes. Now, in order to qualify for a Tron bike, you've got to select the challenge, and then you've got to climb in excess of 50,000 meters vertical. So it's quite a serious little achievement that. Welcome, Hatterfield. Arjun Apache riding with Rowan Hammond. See if we can find Mark Schroeder. He's with the GBSC Avengers. He seems to have stopped Mark having a problem. Let's see if there we go. He's got going again. But that will affect the rest of the team. Looks like David Humphries is waiting. So Mark might have had a bit of a problem. Let's see if we can find Ryan Willoughby. Looks like Ryan is the one that might be having the problem. Some sort of technique, as I was talking about just now, it is a virtual problem, the virtual punch, as we call it. So something has happened to Ryan, he's lost power. first team on the road at the moment, 12.7 Ks. It's a team from Rwanda. We'll try and see if I can get this. Still, Ryan's still showing on my screen, so let's just see if we can find him again, the USC guys. So David's still going. Looks like he has got Ryan going again. Ryan will be there again, so that would have hampered them quite a bit. Obviously, a technical, somewhere along the line, they had a slight technical problem, but they have got going again. It's good to see that the team is up and riding again. So if we call a virtual puncher, either you lose connectivity with your machine or internet drops or whatever, that's just one of those things in the virtual racing world. This team also all opting for those Tron bikes. Super Girls now, Danny Cartwright, Luke Ottman and Suzanne Rogers. One of the riders, Maria Gomez, not riding this today, and obviously Natalie Agostino not deciding to rest for the month of April. I think she'll be back in May for the individual racing. Rajan Spartans now, they're 5.6 Ks in. And people say, oh, the racing on the virtual racing is very short. Yes, it is. Today's only a 20 odd K route. But let me tell you one thing, you do an hour on Zwift and you get off this bike and you're actually broken. It really works all the time. It gives you that real world feeling as well. Obviously, every time there's an incline on the smart trainers, your trainer will then obviously increase the resistance, giving it that real world scenario. You can also bring in training programs and that sort of thing. So if you haven't got a coach, you can actually bring in training programs, that sort of thing, that you guys can follow a program to get fitter. They even got a program for a pregnant woman. I know some men that opt for that one as well. Back with Cycleworks at the moment. Some brave souls in this group racing without helmets. See if I can sift through some of these names and find some of our riders there from Rwanda. John Eric, just 20 years old. $15 Ks in now for the team Rwanda. Still pushing the pace nice and hard. We do know that the Avengers were the team to beat from last week, but they did encounter a technical problem. We saw them stopped on the side of the road for a while. So that's going to hamper their time quite a bit. Just two left here, Benji Porter and Sean Mattis from Icarus. I don't know what's happened to the other teammates. They've lost some. Oh, there we are. Gregory Sack is back. I can see him on the list now. Greg is there. Opting for that area helmet today is Benji. I'll tell you one thing, when you're the guy hanging on the back, bleeding through your eyeballs, it's the longest 20 odd Ks of your life. This is where this team needs to be be careful now. They don't want to burn Gregory too much now. As you can see, that gap increasing all the time because the clock will stop for this team when Gregory crosses the line. So they've got to be careful not to put too big a gap between them and make Gregory work all on his own. 14Ks for the USC Avengers. So going back to that May series, we are looking at some awesome prizes. So guys, you need to get involved. For the winter series, we've got some awesome prizes. I know we confirmed yesterday. We've got, I don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it, but I'm going to anyway. We've confirmed 2 entries to Amashova, so you can win those Amashova entries. One guy, one girl will win it in the winter series here. So, yeah, if you do enter once a month, we're going to be doing some prizes as well. It's not just for our winners, it's for everybody involved. We want everybody to obviously benefit as well. There will be prizes for our first man and first lady, that sort of thing at the end of the series. But lucky draws throughout the month, throughout the 3 months. Like I say, we have confirmed 2 Amashova race entries. That's the 106K. So make sure that you do join the winter series and get in with us. Super Eagles now 12.7 kilometers in. If you want to get involved with us, partner with us on the Premier PLSA, that's Premier League South Africa show, and support our incredible community. You can contact us on info@premierleaguesa.co.za. We're also on Instagram, Facebook. Look around for all of our. We can find us all over. I know a lot of guys say, oh, but it's all to do with soccer. It's not. There's obviously Premier League. It's got to do with virtual racing. So make sure that you do join our community, get involved, come and race. If you want to, let's get your brand out there. See if we can find young Ian Rousseau on his own 14.3 Ks, not having a bad ride at all for a solo time trial. Hayden Simpson here now with CycleWorks. They seem to have dropped Aurelia and sustained for a bit there. That's Harry Stein. Looks like Hayden and Grenville pushing the pace a bit. This is the mixed category, so way it works for their 3 riders, the lady in the team, or the person of the opposite, it must be in the top 3 when they cross the line. There we go. Looks like a Brontosaurus. These guys still out in the desert section. As you can see, those other teams already, the leading teams are already going through the Titan Grow area. Ramadan Nyama, at the moment, 20 years old, from Rwanda. This is Team Rwanda racing at the moment. These guys are certainly flying. Eco Rising program. Relatively new to Zwift in the greater scheme of things. You can see the guys are also on those entry-level bikes. These guys are relatively new at Zwift. And let me tell you one thing, they certainly are going for it. USC Avengers, it's the third team. They were the third team on the road. Let's see if we can find a team from Icarus. See where they are. They were second to go off Icarus at 17. So it looks like Icarus has been caught and passed by the USC Avengers. They just at 17.3 Ks. The Avengers having a good day again, even though they had that technical issue. They are certainly putting the hammer down. Super Bowls 14.7 Ks in. Providing a patch now, also trying to enter the Titan Grove section, 12.7 Ks. I know back in the day we used to have a bear that fell out the tree during Titan Grove. I don't know if there was obviously somebody that made a complaint about it and said how cool it was or what, I don't know, because I haven't seen the bear for a long time. It was actually quite funny, but the problem is on a day like this when it's racing, every time a team goes past, he has to fall out the tree. It might still be there, I don't know, I haven't seen him in a while. Yeah, and then with the Biden Spartans just hanging on the back. That's about a second to his teammates. Yeah, back on. See, the guys, what they do is they use a Discord app. What that is, it allows them to talk to each other with earphones in. That makes them feel, gives them obviously like a two-way radio kind of idea. The guys just talk to each other, so you can say, guys, I'm off the back, slow down a little bit, I need a bit of a hand or whatever, and the team can then respond accordingly. Good to see that the team from Cycleworks all back together again. And they put Aurelia straight up in the front. Those guys have just finished it. The team from one, they're just crossing the line now. 32 minutes, I get them at roughly. You can see there, they said one of the fastest times. You can see the world's starting to populate now. So 22 Ks. These guys have got about 2 Ks still to go. It's the USC Avengers. The team Rwanda are across the line. We just managed to catch them as they went across the line. So the USC Avengers might know that. They might have somebody talking to them saying, first team is across the line, this is the time to beat. These guys will have a 2 minutes. So you see the time on the clock now, they have a 2-minute advantage because obviously there was a 2-minute delay. So that's the race clock from when the first team went off. It all gets calculated afterwards. They've still got about 1.4 Ks to go by my calculation. They still need to, they can't set up just yet. That little technical in the middle somewhere might have caused a bit of a problem for them today. with Mark Schroeder at the moment. Finish line just won't come. They've got this long left bend now, and they go under that rock. We saw the team from Rwanda finishing. There we go. That's that line that they just crossed there. That's basically indicating the Fogo flat sprint. It's half a kilometer for them to go. Not too far now for these guys from the USA Avengers. They'll be done. You see so they crossed the line that USA Avengers have finished. There we go. We got Ian Musalia on his own from Namibia. He's entering the desert section again. So he's got about 2 kilometers still to go. That's not a bad ride at all for Ian there, going solo today. See if we can find our leading ladies team from Supergirls. 19k, so they've got 3.2, 3.4k to go. They're just exiting the Titans Grove area. This is Spartans again. Brad Wenzel leading the team. Looks like they are closing on the Apaches, just 22 seconds behind, and the Apaches would have started 2 minutes ahead of them. So this team definitely closing on the Bajan Apaches. Brad Wenzel there. Stuck between 2 riders in his team. Looks like Ian Lindsay a little bit off the back. They've got to wait for him now. Can't leave him out there too long. Let's go and see how our ladies are doing. They should be nearly finished. They should be back through the desert section. That's right. There we go. So just 1.8k to go for the girls. The section where they enter the desert, they go do a little loop first. Hildegard Premier with Danny Cartwright and Suzanne Rogers. Team here from Cycleworks, 14 Ks in, 14.8 Ks. Last team to start this morning. See where the ladies are. There we go, 22. They've got about 300 meters still to go, and the ladies will be done. And we'll see if we can bring in the Biogen guys. There's the finish line. You can see that arch in the rock, the cutaway in the rock. There's the finish, the official finish line for today's Sandton Sequoias. Hold on there, Super Girls. Rowan Hammond now. Seems to have lost Malcolm. Malcolm slightly ahead of him, 36 seconds ahead. So Malcolm obviously deciding to go. He didn't want to sit around the water cooler today saying to the Biogen Spartans, oh, you guys caught us. So Malcolm decided to take matters into his own hand and go off. Should almost see the other team just in front there now. That's a gap to Rowan. We were just watching, it's 13 seconds. So the Spartans have got about 3 Ks in order to see if they can reel Rowan in. That gap closing quite quickly now. Not too far for the Biogen Spartans. Just a reminder that those races coming up in the winter series, May, June, and July. Make sure that you do tune in for that. We're opening up 4 men's categories based on watts per kg, and then obviously the ladies have the E-batch. It's going to be racing over 3 months. Like I said earlier, we do have loads and loads of prizes to give up for that. We've also got obviously prizes throughout. It's not going to just be the leading man and leading woman that's going to walk away. It's all going to be individual racing, but you will race in your teams of 4, but it's also still solo. So if you haven't got a team, you can still come race as an individual and do what you need to do with that one. So that's the ones. First off is Tuesday, 4th of May, Volcano Flat Reverse. That's race number 1. Race number 2 is the Greater London Loop Reverse. Race number 3 is the Healy Route, and race number 4 is Boost in France. So tune in for those guys, and make sure that you do join us for that. said earlier, we have already confirmed yesterday we have got 2 entries from Amashoba that we are working on. Another, I'm not going to tell you who it is. I want to spoil the news, but we are working on another huge entry for a team of 2 to go and race. Margin Spartans making their way to the line. About 500 meters for them to go. Looks like. Can't see. They have caught Rowan. Rowan is in the. You can see they've caught Rowan now. He's in the mix with them in that red and that black shirt. He's going to hang on for dear life now. 500 meters to go for this team, Bajan Spartans. Where's Malcolm? Malcolm is at 25 seconds up the road. I think they're going to run on the road before, and Malcolm's going to get across the line. That's it. That's them across the line. Well done, their team, Bajan Spartans. Let's bring in our final team on the road now. The team from CycleWorks. Harry Shane having his turn in the front, putting the team under a bit of pressure. This team just exiting the Tartan Groves area. They've got to go around the pools here first. They've still got about 4Ks, 4.2Ks to go, 3.2Ks to go. Bringing Harry back in. Well, it's at the Tartan Groves area now and go back into the desert, the Fuego Flats. Not too far now for the team from CycleWorks, our mixed team. Watching our final team on the road now, Team CycleWorks, the mixed team, as they enter the Fuego Flats. Just exactly 2 kilometers for this team now. And when you're hurting, those 2 kilometers can feel like a lifetime. So Hayden Simpson leading the team at the moment. Not too far now. These guys have got just over 1K to go. So we can get the view from earlier. I'll turn right now, go around this big mound of rocks, and circle that, and then make their way into the Fuego Flats with a 21.9. They'll hit that 500 meters to go. So 1K now exactly for this team. Last little bit across the line, and that'll be our final team coming across the line. You can see the finish line there. It's that cutaway that we were chatting about earlier in the rock. That's the finish. That's Team CycleWorks, our last team on the road today. Huge thank you to Galileo Risk and Infinity Insurance, our title sponsors. And that's it. So just to recap again, folks, that winter series coming up now, May, June, and July. Make sure that you do join us for that. We've opened up those categories for all the men. Obviously, men, they're watts per kg. Ladies, we've still got just one group. We need to unfortunately, get some more ladies involved with that before we can go ahead. But that's a wrap for today, folks. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next week for that first race of the winter series. It's a solo or teams of 4. You can decide how you want to race it. Obviously, back to a racing team format, and it's free, guys. Lots of prizes, not just for the winners, but for everybody. Spot prizes, and we got entries up for grabs, entries to races like I'm sure, etc. up for grabs. So make sure that you join us for that.